You're listening to the Rogers Sporting Goods Podcast with Patrick Fisher,
Chandler Smith,
and Josh from Outdoor Limits.
In this podcast, we'll touch on everything from gear to ducks to deer, turkey and fishing. From field to table, let's dive in.
What are you looking at?
This hunting article that popped up. Glad we don't have to worry about that here in the States.
What, is it about Washington?
No.
Oh.
In France, France's refusal to ban Sunday hunting angers anti-hunt campaigners.
Really?
Wow. They want to ban hunting on Sundays.
There's some states that don't allow hunting on Sundays.
We're on the other side. Isn't Pennsylvania the one that...
Yeah.
Are they going to wait from that?
Where you can't hunt?
Not on Sundays.
There's some states that you cannot hunt on Sundays.
I don't know if that's true.
Oh, yeah. Look it up.
I know Pennsylvania. I think Pennsylvania did get like 1 or 2 Sundays during deer
They might have
season.
got a relief, some relief, but I can't remember what it was. So what was the last status update?
All right. Today, most states have done away with what they call blue laws. However, 11 states have yet to eliminate outdated bans on Sunday hunting. These states include, and they're all East Coast, Connecticut, Delaware, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Virginia, and West Virginia. What? I can't even fathom. Sunday, Monday is my 2 days off.
Yeah, that's your days to hunt.
Well, that's most people's days to hunt is their weekend.
Sunday, yeah.
Like Saturday, Sunday.
Yep.
I'll be hornswoggled.
There you go. I told you.
Whatever that word
I
means.
would have never believed it.
Well, now you do.
Well, I wouldn't have guessed 11 states.
Yeah, I didn't expect that many.
I thought it was a handful.
But
It
can't be like all hunting on Sundays. Does it say like
a certain
like you can't deer hunt on Sunday?
you can't trap or you can't so the dark blue, which is 2 states, Maine and Massachusetts, Sunday hunting prohibited. And this is from the NRAILA.org. So I'd find
.org, so it's official.
I'd find that pretty credible source. The next be like a light blue. Sunday hunting allowed in limited instances. I'd have to read further. And then they've got a navy blue. Sunday hunting allowed on private land in some counties. That's another that would be another. You're telling me I can't hunt on my property that I've owned for 100 years in my family. Let's see. Another one is Sunday hunting on private land and public waterways with restrictions, and then Sunday hunting is permitted in all other states, which we're in the great Midwest.
The great Midwest.
We're going to have people from the East Coast flocking here so they can hunt.
They don't already?
Well, yeah, they do. Does
it tell you how long? This has been going on for a long time.
I would have never guessed that. Maybe I need to keep up. 2, how do we change this?
Yeah.
I suppose you would have to.
Or from the east side that deal with this.
Yeah, I'd like to hear if you are tuning into the Rogers podcast and you live in one of those states that we just mentioned. What are your thoughts if you're a hunter or if you're an anti-hunter? I'd like to hear both sides.
They can send us an email now.
And is the email attached in our
it's going
podcast?
It's in the copy.
Okay, it's in the copy. Send us an email.
Podcast at rogersportinggoods.com.
Yep.
Yeah, and because I'd love to hear that.
Or if you guys have any questions. Just in general.
In general, general things you want to hear, things you liked, disliked, crazy stories like that. that you'd like to share.
Imagine having your trail camera up under your tree stand, and the big buck shows up at 8:30 in the morning
Right,
on a Sunday morning. Yeah.
It's a moral dilemma right there.
Yeah, dear Lord.
Yeah.
And you'd be, well, I'd like to hear how they deal with it. I mean, if you're a big time hunter, you grew up, and that's maybe you get used to it, right? Like, when did they still do that on Sundays. Like, I know it has nothing to do with hunting, but
Like you can't
like drinking
can't buy beer
sales.
on Sundays.
Right. In a lot of places. Because I remember vividly going and buying alcohol for Chiefs games on Sundays.
I used to live in a town that didn't sell alcohol.
But
on
yeah,
Sundays.
so maybe you just get used to it over time. Like,
Yeah.
hey, that's the
Yeah.
one day. I mean, if you're born in Pennsylvania and that's all you've ever known is you can't hunt on Sundays. But
I wonder what that does to the migration. Like it's, they have a day of rest, the birds, as far as getting shot.
Yeah.
at, you
Well,
know?
I know California refuges only are like, you can only hunt them like 2 or 3 days a week. The rest of the time, it's no hunting.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So they give some like refuge days or like days of rest for the birds to get in and get comfortable and whatnot. It might make the hunting phenomenal on the days you can't hunt.
If you can draw in.
Yeah.
they did a poll. Speaking of religion on Sundays and hunting, there's no evidence that allowing hunting on Sundays negatively impacts church attendance. In fact, according to a 2014 Gallup poll, out of the top 10 states in the country for church attendance, North Carolina is the only state that restricts hunting on Sundays. Furthermore, 3 of the bottom 10 states for church attendance fully prohibit hunting on Sundays. Hence, giving citizens the freedom to hunt on Sundays will not determine their religious tendencies.
Man,
this is deep. This is deep state crisis that we need to dig into. I suppose you'd have to
Send a
that
letter.
starts at like your state representative, and let's hope they like to hunt. Isn't that a freedom that you think we should be allowed? 7 days a week?
During season.
I know you all agree,
Mm-hmm.
but we're accustomed to not having restrictions.
Well, can you fish on Sundays?
It doesn't say anything about fishing.
So fishing's okay, but hunting isn't.
Well,
Interesting.
they don't want boom booms going off during the gospel.
Hmm.
The states with the most abundant game populations are all among those that allow hunting on Sundays. Yeah, but that has to do with, right, crops in your, what kind of terrain and stuff your state has. So I don't know if South Carolina's probably not going to have a huge game population compared to Iowa with an abundance of, row crops and, vegetation and forests. And so I don't dig into that too much, but I'd like to write. Actually, I'm going to, even though,
There you go.
and then we'll get back to you. If I get a response, I can tell the listeners.
Dig into this a little bit more. And
I'm going
we'll
to
find
dig
out next
into
time.
it, and I'd like to write one of those states' representatives and ask why this is still happening. Because I want to fight for the right to hunt on Sundays.
Oh,
I'm going to help all of these hunters be able to go out on Sunday and enjoy our freedom and our land to hunt on. We've been hunting for centuries, decades, and hundreds of years.
It's a lot more than decades.
Yeah,
Well, if you're talking about
I spoke for
I'd
us
say-
decades, but I mean, in general, the human population.
I don't even know the thousands and 10,000s.
And when did it stop? Right? Because I would imagine this was some law that was enacted, in our country's time, which we're not that old of a country
Yeah.
compared to the rest of the world. When did that come about?
Yeah.
So
That's a good book report.
yeah.
Get on it, Pat.
I'm gonna get on it.
That was a crazy
I'm
tangent
gonna
to start
dig
off.
into this. I don't know. I
Saw an article.
I saw it. Yeah, I'm gonna jump into that. So
Josh, when was the last time that we did a podcast?
I don't even remember. It's easily been over a month.
we
over
were
a month.
just finishing up
Black Friday.
Black Friday.
You did
We
one.
had got through the peak of the rut for whitetail in Missouri.
Did we do one in November? Anyways, I apologize. We have
Yeah.
not posted a podcast in over 30 days,
Welcome to 2023.
and it is
Oh,
now
yeah.
2023
Yeah.
right now.
Happy New Year.
For all of us here, even Josh, I mean, his YouTube stuff picks up in November and December quite a bit, traveling and whatnot. We get bombarded with just work in the November, December times. This Christmas season,
Mm-hmm.
holiday season. We had an awesome Black Friday, and then the online and in store, and then a Cyber Monday that was great, and and it just continued right into December. It was just
Yeah, it leads right into the Christmas spirit.
all hands on
And
deck
it's just go, and then you kind of
40 days.
yeah. We're rocking and rolling. We appreciate everybody that shopped online, stopped by the store.
Yeah, and then we had the end of year sale. If you took
Yeah.
advantage of that, that was
Yeah,
that was pretty
cool.
crazy pricing.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And then when the new year hit, we dropped the Avian X decoys on sale.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see a bunch of guys coming in for that?
Had a
at the
lot
store?
of individuals stop by the store and checked it out.
What were they getting? They wanted backwaters, or they wanted
Well, I'll
geese?
tell you what. Yeah, everything. I think if it's something maybe you had an eye on, and,
Yeah.
here we just throw this, it's kind of a random. I don't know if we've ever actually done just a
Avian X sale.
Avian X, so we sold everything from teal to geese to the open and backs, obviously.
Yeah, we sold thousands and thousands of green wing teal.
Yeah,
And we had it on a half off or deal or
Right.
something like that.
right.
It was crazy
Yeah.
how much green wing teal was being purchased. But I mean, hey, you getting ready for next year?
Yeah,
It's
it's never too early to add to your spread.
yeah.
What do you can keep them in the box, store them in the shed.
But we
And
we
when
talk about the last hunt that we were on, Pat? Did we talk about that on the podcast?
Well, not really. So maybe let's touch on that, where we've kind of left off our season, or
Yeah,
if
we're
you're
gonna-
still
we're gonna-
going,
Yeah, we're
let's
gonna
kind
recap
of
a
do
little
that, like a recap of our season, maybe where we left off. I can go first because I left off a long time ago. So
I think the last podcast we did, we heard the coot story, Chandler.
we did talk about
No,
The coot coming out of the trees.
that was opening day.
So
we do
it's
have
been a
we
while.
do have a great story,
Which one?
our waterfowl story.
Like
we haven't
us?
mentioned that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Have we talked
Yeah.
about that?
That was the last time I've been out hunting any, whether it's
Okay.
whitetail or. So, one, to recap, I did obviously my passion. If you don't know, this is Patrick speaking. Is archery. And everybody, hey, did you get out duck hunting, goose hunting? And I've been a couple times this year, which me and Chandler will tell one of our stories. But I love to bow hunt. So it was an up and down year. I've seen some, didn't get out a bunch, just kind of the way the season fell and, things going on and commitments, and it seemed like there's always something going on. So I didn't get to go as much, but that's okay. And so I didn't get a whitetail this year. And I still have a few days to go, but I'm done for the year now, and I'm kind of looking to spring fishing and turkey now. So my season's basically done, unless I do a goose hunt or something like that. But pretty much left off there. The last time I hunted was with Chandler. So kind of how that came about. I mean, you just want to jump into that?
Yeah.
So where the store's located, which is basically, it's Liberty, Missouri, but you're right in Kansas City. And we get, athletes come into the store.
Professional athletes,
professional athletes from the Royals and Chiefs mainly. We've probably had some soccer players or something come in, but, recognizable players that like when Ned Yost was with the Royals.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he'd come in and a lot of the pitchers would come in.
Yeah, Ned Yost did like an endorsement for us. He would
Yeah,
talk
and
about
they
us on the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he'd buy all of his
And
deer
they were
hunting,
diehard hunters.
deer hunting clothing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, button.
So you see him from time to time. A lot of the Chiefs players come in, and two that frequent the store now. One is the long snapper, James Winchester. So shout out to James Winchester if he's listening. He's getting more into waterfowl hunting.
Big
Has
deer
some
hunter,
property, loves deer hunting,
Yeah.
and he's been coming in for years now. And he'll stop in when they have time. And then a newer athlete is the Chiefs running back, Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Which I heard he's
stops
off
in.
IR, right?
He is off IR for the playoffs. Yeah.
As of the day we're recording this podcast, yeah.
Yeah, he should be, just another asset, right? To
Yeah.
as if we needed more talent. It's just another guy to throw in there. So.
Yeah, and previous also Colquitt, right?
Colquitt. Mm-hmm.
And you have there's a product that he's involved
Yes,
with, right?
which
You
I
could
just
plug that a
talked
little
to. Was it Travis? I think's the contact. One of the business guys with Colquitt, which we'll talk about that product real quick after the story. So don't let me forget that. Dustin Colquitt product.
This is after.
Write it down in your notepad.
Oh yeah. Ooh, that's why I brought this.
There you go.
But it was right after Cyber Monday. Like it was like the weekend after or something.
Yes. And Clyde's a big waterfowl guy, which we talked about. I think you had mentioned. So he's from Louisiana, from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So he stops in. He was actually, from what he told me, and Chandler told me, like he misses out on waterfowl weekend because they have training camp, which he had sent his girlfriend, wife. I don't know if they're married, but she's FaceTiming him from the parking lot, like all excited, but he loves waterfowl hunting, loves it. So he's been shopping around, but new to the area, so doesn't really know a lot of places to go. We've talked about private hunting, public hunting, areas to go, and some other podcasts. And he just came in, had a couple buddies that he played football with at LSU and then in high school.
They flew up from Louisiana. They were hanging with them.
Yeah, during one of the weekends, because they were gone that weekend, so he couldn't go with the team.
It was a Denver Chiefs game.
I think it was Denver, and he wasn't able to fly, being on IR. And so he just, I've seen him before, and I said, hey, do you need anything? And, whatever, and he wanted to figure out a spot, and so we just, I started talking to Chandler. We exchanged phone numbers, and one thing leads to another. I'm like, hey, I got a couple spots, and you can go. If not, we've got
equipment.
The equipment. Yeah. We'd love to join you. And I mean, the guy could not be more nice. He's just like I'd known him forever, and here's an athlete, right, getting paid tons of money, but he just talked to me like I'm just, the dude. And so me and Chandler took him out, and Chandler was gracious enough to. Which I'm so glad he came, or else I'd be out there in like a tarp and some stools. So he brought the Rogers A-frames out.
We brought 2 Rogers A-frames out and a bunch of decoys.
Right.
And this was last minute. He's in Saturday, and we're hunting Sunday morning.
We're hunting Sunday morning. Yeah.
Thankfully, you can hunt on Sundays.
Exactly. Right? It's a sucker alive. And we made it happen. And they came out, and It was a weird morning because there was no wind.
Yeah, Josh hunted on this morning. You were hunting golden eyes this morning.
Probably.
Fog,
Zero.
like you couldn't
You
believe.
couldn't see past the decoys.
You couldn't see hardly
I
past
couldn't
the
see
bank.
the water when we walked in. I thought actually where we had marked to go, we get out through the trees walking in, and I go, "Oh, Chandler, we're in a big field." I thought we were in some field we had to cross.
Well, keep walking, Pat.
No, it was the water was so low. It was the dried up bank.
Yeah, the receded bank line.
But it was like 50 yards.
Yeah.
And you couldn't see with the fog, and it was dark still. And I'm like, what are we doing in a pasture? Are we in? I got to check Onyx or something. We're like trespassing up there. But no, we found a spot and set up the A-frames, put out some decoys, kind of got it ready. Clyde showed up with his buddies, and he's been itching to get his decoys out.
Yeah.
We
want to
shout
get
out to
there.
him. He bought some Final Approach
From the store, yeah.
from the store, and he's been itching to get them out there, and get them on the water. Because I said, hey, I got plenty of decoys we're bringing, and he goes, you mind? I'd like to bring mine and get them on the water. I was like, hey,
Yeah.
by all means, man, we'll throw them all out. So got him out there, but it could have been a great morning.
Oh, man. If the fog and the wind wasn't.
Yeah, and I thought the fog was lifting, and then it just socked back in.
Yeah.
But it's like randomly, and you all waterfowl hunt, especially you, Josh. But with that fog, you couldn't see anything. You'd hear random quacks,
You hear
and Chandler
beats.
just kind of like cold call, and you don't know what's, and all of a sudden, a mallard or a duck of some kind and just like drop in. Boom. We're like, oh my gosh. But he got one. We got a couple. Missed a few times, but that's normal, at least for me. But it was a great time.
Oh, it was a good time.
So that was the last time I was out. I got to take, if you will, one of the Chiefs running backs. Super great guy.
Yeah. And he was on IR, and I remember walking in. It was kind of unstable, frozen mud. Like, there's other foot tracks and stuff going on out there. And Pat was saying, what were you saying to
Yeah, I go like all the footprints and just divots and stuff. And I said, Clyde, don't get stuck or trip in one of these holes here and get hurt. Andy Reid would be up my butt. Like, I go, you're allowed to be out here, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, yes, I can be out here. I was like, I can only imagine. He's on IR. He's pretty much healthy. He's getting ready to come off IR, getting ready to make a playoff push. And, yeah, some kid up there at Rogers Sporting Goods took me out hunting. I twisted my ankle again. Like,
Yeah.
Andy Reid would be calling me. Excuse me? But it was fun.
Yeah,
I'm glad
it
we
was
got to
fun.
do it. And
It was cool hearing his stories, too, because we thought, we didn't know, like, what style of hunting he did back, and we didn't have a crazy walk. We actually kind of wanted to have, like, a public land hunt that wasn't, like, too hard or, like, ridiculous or something dumb I would go do and, like, set up a blind in the middle of a mud flat where you're sinking to your knees. And
Right.
We just want to, like, find a good area that had some, look like a good, good place. And he was telling us they would walk miles through the swamp, in water and just to get to the birds and hunt. Like, like they're just like us. They go do something like that, which is pretty cool to hear.
Yeah, it's totally different where he was from and what they did. But this was a breeze, and we just wanted to make it, simple. But
Yeah.
which
He
is
said he
great
wanted
for
to
me.
get on a Canada goose hunt because I don't know if he's ever shot one or been on a Canada goose hunt.
Right, and I had mentioned, of course, the Chiefs, you're trying to make a playoff push every year, so their time schedule is,
Your last day of goose season is like the Super Bowl day or something. Like it's
like
right around there.
Like when he'd text me or something, he's like, I'm at the job, and, like,
football.
right, yeah. But, you got to go in every morning and do your thing. And but, yeah, they haven't done goose,
He wants to
They've
do it
never
in
done
a
Canada
field.
hunt.
He wants to probably
Yeah.
do a big spread field hunt.
Yeah.
Nah,
Yeah, he does.
water.
No,
Well,
he
but
wants-
he's never experienced that field layout blind hunt.
Tons of calling, flagging, you
Right.
know, big
And I'm
flocks
sure
coming in.
he's a waterfowl guy. He'd love a pond hunt too, or water. But having them big giant Canadas
Come in
on
land
top
100,
of you.
100 yards short.
Shoot one, it lands on top of your layout blind.
Yeah.
And get Josh out for that one.
Okay.
Well, someone's got to go that can call because I can't.
Yeah.
Chandler can call.
So, well, yeah, but you know,
We'd figure
between the two of you,
Yeah. I'd be the
Yeah.
I'd be the gander, he'd be the goose.
yeah.
it out. But yeah, that was pretty cool
But
experience.
that was fun. That was my last time out, and which if that's the way it ends, well, that's the way it ended for 2022. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was
Wish we
pretty
could have
neat.
shot more, but you never could see them, and they couldn't see
No.
us. And
But one came in like this Drake, beautiful green head, just hovering right above the decoys. Take him. Old Clyde pulls up. Boom, done. It's like, I got that one.
yeah,
Sure enough, he was on it. It was a good time though.
Yeah.
But so that was my last. I'm done for the year. You guys, Josh, you're probably still at it. I mean,
Josh has been.
you're still. You guys did. What was the most recent hunt you did with Steve?
No.
Yeah, we went goose hunting.
Yeah, we'll get into that in just a second.
Okay.
But like the weather after that hunt with Clyde, though, like we just had it wasn't great, like as far as the cold front, but then we did have a cold front that came through that was, the whole, 80% of the United States had a cold front come through.
It was rough.
They had.
We had -11 with wind chills of like -30, and we lost everything.
Mm-hmm.
Was
Everything froze up.
that was
It
right before
just-
Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember Christmas was still cold.
Things were thawing out the week around, like a couple days before New Year's.
Yeah.
We sold through every ice eater.
Yeah, didn't we get up to like 60 degrees like right before New Year? And like the week before it was like
Yeah.
-11.
Yeah,
That's
but
a
there's
swing.
still like chunks of ice 6 inches thick on the reservoir.
Yeah.
Right.
So that just really hurt my December duck hunting, honestly.
Dude, December was rough
Yeah.
Because we didn't have like any good north wind pushes, I didn't feel like. And then
until it got to be negative
and then-
40 degrees.
until it got to be gnarly. And that was like a Wednesday night, Thursday.
But is that because you guys do a lot of water, and so that's
Yeah.
why it kind of hurt?
Yeah, Gregory went out or somewhere around then.
Yeah,
one
North
of our,
Missouri.
our clothing buyers, he went out and shot 7-man limit of mallards in the field.
Mm-hmm.
Just around that push somewhere.
Right, but
which is great.
they were doing a field hunt.
Yeah, field hunt, A-frames. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was showing me pictures of that. That I've never done. It's a field hunt for mallards.
So as middle zone duck for Missouri's closing, but then Kansas has a split, and right the whole. I don't know how all Kansas
Right.
works, but the whole state or some areas
2 of the zones are split right
Okay.
now.
still until this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Because Middle Zone just quit
Yeah.
for us
Mhm.
on the 9th or the 10th. Anyways,
Something.
just the last couple of days.
Last Sunday,
The South Zone
it's still open.
still
I think.
open till the end of the month or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. Don't quote me on that if you're going out.
yeah.
Check your local rules.
But me and Josh got to go down with Steve Rogers out in Kansas to shoot geese,
I've seen some pictures.
Yep.
and
Killing it.
couldn't shoot any ducks, couldn't shoot any specks, which was a bummer because there's
Mhm.
plenty of
You're
those,
ready to,
Plenty of them.
plenty of those around.
you're ready to unload.
Oh, yeah, those specs.
Yeah.
Mm.
Josh, I guess talk about the that first day we went hunting.
Dude, we set how many decoys?
60 dozen?
Yeah, an absurd amount of decoys
Ridiculous.
On water?
on water.
Well,
Mostly
not
full
all-
bodies.
not all
Mostly
water.
full bodies.
We had,
Okay.
I don't know how many floaters we have.
I don't know, 12 dozen floaters, I think.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was
Did
all,
you all have to bring some? Or did the
The guys we were
the
with had
place
them
where
all.
you
the
they
guys,
had some?
yeah, the guys we were with had them all. But
Oh my god.
we put out 10 dozen floaters.
Something like that.
Yeah,
A lot of decoys.
it might have been.
It took about 7-8 of us about 45 minutes to set everything up.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
But the
decoys.
blind was really cool.
Oh yeah.
It's a
What was that?
27-foot
Yeah.
trailer pit blind
Hydraulics. It
with
drops,
hydraulics
it
that drops to the ground.
drops to the ground.
Like the one that you showed us the other day.
Is it him?
I don't
Was
know.
it that guy?
I don't
Maybe.
know.
I forgot the guy who did it, but that's what it looked like.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
one that.
Yeah.
Because that
Could have been the
actually,
same guy.
I think it was the guy because he stopped in the store and said he knew Steve.
Yeah. They have a white beard.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yep.
Same guy.
Same guy.
And hey, you guys got to go in that thing?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was pretty comfy.
I don't even know how to describe that. It literally is a 27-foot.
It's like you took a school
Like-
bus, chopped the top off of it, and made it into a trailer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the thing is enormous.
Yeah. It's got
Covered in raffia.
raffia. And
Well, I
then,
hope so.
And
He
then they
brought
had
a lot of raffia.
They
grass.
they hauled a whole trailer full of cedar branches to add to it.
And I mean, you can get how many guys fit in that thing?
12?
12?
Yeah,
Yeah,
We
you
didn't
could do
have
12.
though.
No.
We had 8.
Oh,
Right.
that's comfortable. You got plenty of room.
Yeah.
8 guys.
Well, I
in
mean,
there.
we had 8 guys, but we also put like branches in between us, which kind of made it feel smaller. Like we would have like my hole and then a branch,
just so there's
and
not
then-
as much dead space.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like
Covering up from the top.
because it's a standard A-frame. It's not. It doesn't. There's no roof,
Yeah.
or it doesn't come over the back of your head at all. It's
Do you
just a
think
standard
that's-
A-frame.
that brings up a good point doing that, and that's something when we used to run A-frames up at the lake, and we'd have 2 together, and you leave it out for the season. Back when we could do the draw, and you'd leave a blind up at Smithville, and so with 2 together, just in case you brought out 4 or 5 guys, but if you only had a few guys, there's a lot of dead area.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're not doing this, it can help, but having something to cover up those dead spots.
Yeah.
I thought it helped us when we started doing it and stuff flying over and you got a 12-foot blind and half of it's open.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd just cut grass and then bundle them up, keep them in the trailer, and just toss them on the sides between people.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point to make, to help someone out that's using A-frames or maybe they're getting into it, but, covering up those dead
Yeah,
spots.
tall grass that goes over is a lot, what we try to get the best, use the most to help with that black hole effect. You get the backside
Right.
with some super tall grass that kind of drapes over top of you. That'll really help break that up. But
And was that a 2-day hunt out there, Josh?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so
2.
yeah, going into that hunt, Josh. I mean, how many shells did we put out? Sleeper shells.
Sleeper shells? I don't even know. Dude, it
Stacks
was,
of
it was
shells.
stacks.
Yeah. So
I mean-
the pond was we're hunting a roost pond, right?
Yeah, so we waited until they all left because
Yeah.
they were going to feed. Then we slipped in, started setting up all the decoys. There was a lot of sleeper shells, a lot of floaters, and a lot of full bodies.
Yeah.
Do you do any silhouettes?
I think they had some silhouettes.
The silhouettes were kind of on the farthest back of the whole spread.
I think we just kind of put them out because we had them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so let me ask you that. Would you have had the same amount of success with 5 dozen decoys as you did with 60 dozen decoys?
I don't know.
I
I mean,
don't-
honestly, we were at a place that they were using already.
Yeah, but most of the birds we had come in were just traffic.
But at the same time, a lot of us were getting close to our limit, and we haven't even had the birds from the roost that got off in the morning come back.
So you think they stopped there because you had so many decoys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would have been difficult to get as many groups interested. Now, if we had like 3 or 4 packs of big honkers and we had 5 dozen floaters and 5 dozen full bodies, probably could have done it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if we had groups of like, what do we get? Like mainly groups like 10 to 15 at a time usually.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And some smaller groups too.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
It could have been done, but the numbers helped, especially with
Right.
it being a lot of lessers in the area too. Generally, you need a bigger spread for
Any
lessers.
bands
Nope.
no.
you guys came across? No.
We got every type of goose imaginable though,
Yeah.
big to small,
Right.
and everything in between.
Yeah. What do you shoot? What's your
Shotgun
shotgun
shell?
that you take out there?
Oh, shotgun?
Uh-huh.
Weatherby 18i.
And then what ammo are you using out there?
I generally shoot Remington Nitro Steel number 2s.
Okay. Did you shoot something different for this one?
Yeah, Steve brought some TSS.
Okay.
Yeah, some Black
Like
Cloud
Black
TS.
Cloud TSS?
Yeah.
Gotcha. It was like, okay. Not that you've done enough hunting that, right, if you can shoot.
Oh, I've shot it before.
But, yeah.
It's
Well,
some
we've
good
talked
stuff.
about ammo before, and it's on the upper level of one price, but, obviously you get that tungsten super shot. I'm sure it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and did you bring out the shotgun that you had for
He brought out his
when we
boat
went
paddle.
out?
My bow paddle.
When we went out with
Yeah.
Clyde?
Yeah, it works now.
Okay. That's good.
Was it
We
not
didn't
working?
talk. I wasn't going to bring it up. Do you want 'em?
SBE1 I Cerakoted, but it's my favorite gun. I love shooting it. But
Except when it just goes click.
well, the morning we went out, it was cold, and then
Yes.
it didn't fire. There's a forklift behind us. It didn't fire, and then I took it home that night or the next day to clean it, which I probably should do more often. But it usually runs like a champ no matter what. But on the bolt, as I compressed it to like expose and I pushed in the back to expose the firing pin, every time I pushed in the back, it just pushed mud out. Every time where the firing pin comes out.
You're not supposed to get mud in that part.
I don't know how I got mud in that part, but and it was like, I probably pushed it out 10, 20 times.
Like little turd nuggets coming out of his bolt.
Yeah. Just like,
Yeah.
okay.
So-
But it worked this time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And it did well. I love shooting that gun. But yeah, I don't know, 20 times I would push the firing pin out and it would just be covered
Gotcha.
in mud and I would wipe it away and redo it, But, yeah. So I shot that 12 gauge SB1, just been tried and true for so many.
Yeah.
Shot some TSS. Shot some top secret loads that aren't out yet.
I have an SB2, but I got it well over 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how long the SB2's been out, but it's been
Yeah, quite a while.
a while. I'm 38, and I've had it since I was 21,
Yeah,
probably. Maybe even before that.
those are solid.
Because the SB3 is super new,
Yeah,
isn't it? So there was like a long gap.
4 or 5 years ago.
Right, but there was a decent gap between the 2 and the 3.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was.
Yeah. But it works.
Yeah.
So
So
you're still going, sorry, go ahead.
Well, just kind of that was one day we were.
That was
hunting
one day.
We shot. We called and brought it. Called in a lot of traffic birds and shot 30.
I don't know
6?
the number.
I think it was like 36 birds.
Hmm.
We were one limit shy of a 7-man, and we had 7 guys. We had 8 guys originally, but one guy left early and took his bounty.
Were they
He
both
had to go to work.
evening hunts? Or was
This was like from like 9:30 to
Yeah, this
2.
one was 9:32. We pulled up on the road and kind of a ways away from the pond, and then we sat there and watched them all fly off as we ate Brahms breakfast burritos.
I was gonna wait till the end, but I heard the food was
Oh,
awesome.
we got to have some fajitas.
It's like some top
Yeah.
chef
I
guy
could
was just
go back
cranking out.
I could go back to that fajita bar.
Oh my gosh, the steak was so perfect. This fajita steak, like
Oh man,
it just melts in your mouth.
Yeah, and the pico.
Oh man, that was some good pico de gallo.
Oh,
But
that was
Yeah, I heard it was phenomenal.
and then the next day was not so great. It was okay. It was your typical. I mean, I guess what Josh hates about field hunting.
Yep.
We set up.
a lot.
Yeah, go ahead and talk about that day.
Yeah, we
This is
set
the
out.
second day?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we set out probably 40 dozen full bodies.
Wow,
Cornfield.
yeah, you're 20 dozen short, and that's what happened.
Probably.
See?
Yeah,
Cornfield.
we trafficked a few of them in, but it's like the birds switched feeds.
Yeah.
They were right where in the area.
The night before, they were on the field that we were in, and we could see all the tracks and
There
all
was
the
strong
remains,
evidence.
of a big feed there. So we set up, a little bit on top of it, a little bit off, kind of in a certain area around where they were, and then we get some to work in the morning, and all of a sudden they go to beans.
Didn't want the kern.
I have noticed that people ask, and I'm just going to ask you since you do it way more than I do, but the one thing I've learned with goose hunting for field hunting is, you might own 100-acre farm, and you've got, like where we deer hunt, there's tons of, when the farmer does corn or beans or whatever, and we got tons of acres of cropland, and there's geese everywhere. But if they're not feeding in that field, it is so hard to, just because you've got a cornfield to go hunt in.
Doesn't mean you're going to get them.
Right. Like that's the like my dad said, if they don't want to be in there, forget it. Like, I mean, you might be able to go out and scratch a couple loners that just got lost or whatever, and maybe they fly low enough and you get a crack at them. But, and we're right by water, and they're coming off that water treetop high, and they don't want anything to do with us.
Well, if they're treetop high, sit under the trees,
but
Pat.
I know I need to do that. But they're going wherever the feed's at.
Yeah.
And that's really the scouting portion of at least field hunting, and it's probably with mallards too. But yeah, you want to
be where they want to be. I mean, I've had success
you
trafficking
can't just
them.
go out and
I've had success trafficking them, but it's been in areas that they frequently go to.
Yeah,
They may not have been in there, but they have been in there.
Yeah,
because
best day
sometimes
for me running traffic is like really, really bad fronts, like just some nasty weather.
I suppose if they
birds
were
are
new,
Yeah,
then
fresh
they
birds.
don't know where to feed, and they're like, oh,
Yeah, right here.
Hey, friends.
look at all the, but, and the reason why I bring it up, because at the store, the question to me is, how many do I need to start with? How many should I have if I'm doing this? And one of my main points, at least, and this is where Canada's for field hunting, is, you can buy as many as you want, but that doesn't mean it doesn't equate to a successful hunt. Yeah, you've got a farm, and yeah, you've seen geese flying every evening you drive by. And my question is, are they feeding on your farm? And if they're not, it doesn't matter if you put out 60 dozen or 5 dozen. Most likely,
You think there's a limit? Like if you put 100 dozen out,
I don't think it matters. Not if they already know where they're going.
no.
They're a creature of habit when it comes to a feed, and I don't know how long they feed in one field for. I don't know if there's an average. Is it 3 days or a couple days, that they would frequent that field? But I think if if they're on a new feed and your farm's in between that feed and there, and you put out 100 dozen decoys, I don't think it's going to matter. Now, it doesn't mean you're not going to get a couple.
It's not going to be a hunt like you were on the feed.
On the feed where they're, they're coming in.
You see them
Sure.
out there locked up, just gliding right in.
Yeah. It's not going to be that.
If you're not in that field, it's going to be a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a lot of calling, a lot of flagging, and you maybe
But I
will
think
get a
that's
couple groups to finish, but you're also going to get a lot of just kind of like birds getting low, checking it out, and then bugging out.
But I think that might be a misconception with someone getting into it. Don't expect because you bought, 10 dozen brand new full bodies, and how many of her else, you've got, and you got the best A-frame or the best layout blind, and everything's covered up, and I'm going to go out there and knock them out. Well, if they're not feeding in your field, your chances go way down.
Yep.
So scouting, which has become harder too. I think we alluded to that in a past episode, but just, finding private land to go hunt on, which is typically what you have to do for field hunts. It's more privately owned when it comes to field hunting than it is Public is more waterways. So at least around here, but you know, so it's a little bit more work, but it's also harder to get permission nowadays.
Yeah.
To get on some private land. So, but you're still after it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're still going.
Well,
out.
I haven't duck hunted in a little while.
When's the next time you're getting out?
I'm gonna try to set up a duck hunt for Saturday.
This Saturday.
Yep.
Split's done.
Gotcha.
Split is done.
And then you.
Well, Pat, here's the thing. This is one.
I don't stop hunting, Patrick.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, Patrick.
Yeah. 24/7.
How many squirrels did you shoot the other day?
This is what I'm getting into. My favorite.
Okay.
One of my favorite things other than duck hunting,
Gotcha.
squirrel hunting.
Okay.
You a big squirrel hunter, Pat?
No, but it's actually the number one hunted game in America.
Rightfully
Is
so.
squirrel hunting.
Really?
It is.
Yeah, I think it's number one, followed by. I'll pull it up. Let you talk about squirrel hunting for a second.
Well, squirrel hunting is like the most fun you can have with your clothes on. It's a blast. You need to try it if you haven't. I got a new gun.
Yeah, what'd you get the other day?
Got a Henry lever action 22.
Okay.
I've been eyeing that gun for a while. I was like, man, I'm just gonna do it. It's not crazy expensive. Like it's pretty affordable. And I was like, this is gonna just be a fun gun to shoot. My wife might like to shoot it. Might as well get it. And so me and my buddy went out squirrel hunting the other day. We got a handful of them, but I learned that I am not as good at shooting with iron sights as I once was. So that made things a little bit difficult because in the past I've squirrel hunted with a shotgun or my 22 with a scope on it.
Mm-hmm.
But the last time, so like the week before, I went out with the 22 with a scope on it. The scope was just kind of off, so I need to get that dialed in again.
Yeah.
Actually, I bought a new scope for it because I had a really cheap scope. I figured it was time to upgrade. But yeah, I went squirrel hunting. Squirrels are active.
Well, big. Okay, so this is big game, and I know it doesn't top squirrel hunting. The most popular big game animal is white-tailed deer, which I would have guessed that too. But I had found the list and I should have saved it. Of like, because I think squirrel was far and away, and then I think actually like rabbit hunting. But it makes sense that small game, right? A lot of people can do it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people
before
go.
you start getting into turkey and waterfowl and those. And not that waterfowl's a niche, but there's just more.
There's
to
lots
it.
to it. You don't just need like a 22 and go walk in the woods.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I was in high school, I went squirrel hunting all the time with my buddies. Like that's just what we did. We didn't deer hunt much. We didn't duck hunt at all.
Right.
But we had a nice place to go squirrel hunting, so we'd go squirrel hunting.
What'd you make the other day?
So let's dive into this a little bit deeper. I actually started a new YouTube channel. Got tired of duck hunting. I'm going into gaming. Okay, Patrick?
You started a new YouTube channel?
Yeah.
I can't.
I'm
my
kidding.
Gosh.
I'm kidding.
Oh.
I do have a new YouTube channel though.
Okay.
It's the Outdoor Limits Grill. So I've done a lot of cooking videos on my main channel, but I decided it was time to kind of split the two and just make a channel devoted to cooking wild game. So I filmed the first video. It's not uploaded yet, but by the time this podcast goes out, it's probably up. I made buffalo squirrel roll-ups.
Man, and you didn't bring any here.
You weren't here, man. Had them on Monday.
Yeah, you should have been here Monday.
I had charcuterie all week too. I didn't bring it this week.
He could have brought some to me.
Yeah.
Should have known to save one back for Pat.
I'll bring me some squirrels and I'll make you some. But it was so I put squirrel in the Instant Pot. So if you guys are trying to cook some squirrel and you want to do it pretty quick, do it in the Instant Pot, and it'll shred up really quick and easy.
Sounds awesome.
Shredded the squirrel, mixed it with cream cheese and buffalo sauce, added some cheddar cheese to it, and then rolled it all up inside a crescent roll.
Yep.
Does that sound good?
It sounds delicious.
The wild man's hot pocket.
Yeah.
Like sidetracked me here.
But
That's crazy.
I'll write you the recipe, or you can just go watch the video.
Yeah, when it comes out. Before the squirrels, you were shooting goldeneye though.
Yeah. December was tough. I don't remember a time I've had such a tough December of duck hunting. It was like everything went super stale, and I just wasn't able to get to where the birds were. And so I inevitably just went, you know what? We're going to go hunt divers. Yep. These mallards are being little turds. Dang what?
This is, okay, a little fun fact. Now, this is from the Hunting in America, fishwildlife.org. This is the 2018 edition, but I would imagine that we're going to be fairly close. But hunter spending generates more than $185 million per day for the U.S. economy. I think we're doing our part.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's a lot of jack. So
yeah.
Be getting that paper. That's crazy.
Anyway.
$185 million a day.
That's a lot.
Thanks to Josh.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I decided to go chase around some divers, and we had quite a few goldeneye around. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned this on the other podcast, if we recorded one.
The bird you shot?
Yeah. Did we do that? Did I talk about that?
Maybe.
I don't remember.
I need to say it again.
Okay. Well, I was packing up from a duck hunt on the lake, hunting goldeneye. And so I'm pulling in my long lines and putting them all in the decoy bags. Got the boat right next to me. Got my dog running around. Like, you wouldn't expect some random bird to just come in and land, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pulling in the last line, and I look up, and there's this white bird sitting in my decoys. Just chilling.
Not a seagull.
Not a seagull. I looked at it, I go, I haven't seen that before. It's a duck.
Yep.
I know it's a duck. It looks like a duck. Swims like a duck.
Yep.
Must be a duck. And so I just casually walk over, pull my gun out, put a shell in it, turn around and shoot the thing, and send my dog to go get it. And here we go. It's a hen old squaw.
Yeah. Lost. Very lost.
Very lost.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's a highlight.
I had a friend's son come in. He had shot a long-tailed duck this year.
Really?
That's the same as an old squaw.
There you go. And where was yours at?
Kansas.
And his was at, I think, Bob Brown up by St. Joe. But anyways,
duck's
lost. Yeah. So, but that was pretty wild. I was like, oh, cool.
So Josh is hunting long lines and stuff out in the, big water for divers.
Out in the deep.
And he had some great time running into crappie fishermen as he's.
Oh
as he's
my
hunting
gosh,
goldeneye.
man! Like it's a stuff
Doing
that.
what?
So I'm hunting on a reservoir,
hunting
diving ducks. So I'm hunting off of points on the reservoir, and I guess crappie fishermen like to fish on points.
I mean,
and brush piles and things of that nature that are on said points. And on 2 occurrences now, I've gotten the weight of one of my long lines snagged up in a brush pile. And 2 times now, as I'm picking up the decoys and just kind of getting everything situated in the boat before we leave, some crappie fisherman just rolls up, drops his trolling motor, and starts live scoping.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, heck yeah. Because they've been pestered. They drive by all morning, seeing if I'm there still.
Hey,
And then there was this one day where I'm out in the boat, retrieving a bird. Obviously, we're doing this right here, right? I get back, start walking to the blind. This crappie fisherman is 60 yards away from our decoys. Trolling motor down, just chilling.
Yeah,
2
I
boats.
would say
2 boats.
Yeah, that's tough, right? Because one, right, fishing, the water's open. I mean, to anyone. They probably get out there after the duck hunter does, typically, because we go out early in the morning.
get set up.
But that's a tough
the
spot
thing.
to be in.
I really like it when the crappie fishermen are on the lake and I'm hunting divers, but I really appreciate it if they don't come by my set. because when they're on pad running down the lake, guess what they're doing?
Picking divers up.
They're kicking them up. And
Yeah.
where are they coming?
Right.
Away from the boats.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough deal.
So yeah,
Like if I went out fishing, and I noticed a decoy spread, I probably would stay well away just because I don't want to get shot.
oh, you're a smart man.
But a good question. When you're going out, because you hunt a lot of public,
Mm-hmm.
and it mostly water,
Yeah.
right? Like probably over 90%.
Yeah.
You're hunting water, and typically you're bringing out one of your kayaks or
Some
one of these
watercraft most of the time.
watercraft duck boat builds you do.
Yeah.
So, and you're walking it out there, or you're motoring it out to the spot, or
Whatever is required.
yeah.
Some
If you've
areas
got
you can't use a motor. Some areas you can. Sometimes it's too shallow to paddle, so you just get out and drag it.
So you got to get out and drag it. You got to walk it,
Yep.
whatever to get.
Point A to point B.
Gotcha. What's the farthest you've had to go back in, like by foot with your craft?
Really not that far.
Not that far.
There's a lot of places where, like if I'm going really long ways, it's generally in places that allow motors. Because a lot of the motorless stuff, they're not that big of pools.
But you'll just motor back there.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Just got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But
Well, I had someone ask how how are you getting to these spots? Motor, paddling, dragging your boat.
whatever's legal and whatever makes the most sense.
However I can do it the easiest,
Yes, exactly.
the most efficiently.
Exactly. But back to the crappie fishermen, I actually walked over to them and said, "Hey guys, we're hunting over here," and they moved, but they like the whole time I'm walking over there, they are just ignoring me, acting like I'm not
They're
there.
hoping you would just walk on by.
Yeah, probably.
But you need to bring your pole. Maybe
My fishing pole or like a pole to poke them with.
no, bring a fishing pole next time. And during the slow time, you already know where the brush piles are because you're finding them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And get you a little surf and turf, duck and crappie.
Yeah. A little
Just-
cast and blast.
I'm just saying, work.
Yeah, but at that day that we were leaving, so we were hunting off the point, and then the whole other side of that point, we drove out, and there's like 7 boats along that bank.
That was the spot.
It's a spot to shoot goldeneye too.
Yeah.
Then, yeah, the last time we went out, we didn't get bugged too much because we were kind of like right on the ice line of the reservoir.
Gotcha.
It's half frozen, but still, I had to
If
get up.
it's all frozen up, are you busting ice? Or you
So my boat doesn't have reverse, so I tend to not get myself into precarious situations, and I feel like trying to bust ice with my boat would put me into a
Yeah.
situation that I wouldn't want to be in.
Yeah.
But we found open water right next to the bank.
And a lot of people are doing rabbit hunting now.
They
Getting
gotta
after
go
that.
squirrel hunting.
Squirrel hunting.
Rabbits are for beginners.
Hmm.
No, actually,
don't know.
rabbit hunting's a lot of fun.
I actually wish I had more time just to go out and get out there and squirrel hunt. Just to go do it. Just something to do.
It's so much fun,
You
especially when you get like 3 or 4 of them chasing each other on a tree and you're trying to pick one to shoot with the 22.
Yeah, and while you're doing it, you're scouting.
We saw
if
like
you're
15
hunting,
deer.
Like it's perfect time it's after season, do some squirrel hunting, scouting, all at the same time. It's like a perfect scenario. I don't want to forget this.
Cold quit.
Yeah, we do plan on, at some point, whether Dustin's able to come on. I know he's super busy, but these guys will come on, they said they'd come on, and we'll figure out a time to talk to them. But so Dustin Colquitt, who's the former kicker for the Chiefs, and then so him and a couple other guys, I believe. I don't know the whole group, everybody's name, but it's called, they've got a product, and it's Timber Creek Outdoors. and it's called the Timber Lock. So you can find him on Facebook. Is a great way to find him. You type in Timber Creek Outdoors Inc. And you can follow their page. But the Timber Lock is a mounting bracket for whitetail.
Mounts.
For mounts. You can do elk,
Whatever's a shoulder
sheep,
mount.
whatever, shoulder mount. And it's actually a great system. So they've got a good video
It's super
on
robust.
how to, so really what they're right, you spend all this money, you've got this awesome trophy, and most of us, in some cases, what comes on the back of your shoulder mount, is this little hook deal that you got to put on the wall, and we put a screw in the wall, and all that force is pulling on one screw coming out of the wall. So a lot of the force is pulling away from the wall. And so if, I'll have to share a video so people can see it but if you go there, I'll try to figure out a way to put it out. But anyways, it's more robust, and it holds the mount firmly against the wall. There's no gap.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of pulling away, all the force is straight up and down. And so the weight's distributed better. It doesn't pull it away because you got that head hanging out there. So, right, you're protecting your investment. I mean, some of these shoulder mounts, $600, $700, $800, depending on, some of these elk are over $1,000, depending on where you take them. And, this runs $59.99 retail, but what's that? What's $60 to protect your $1,000 mount? They'd even be cool for, I know they use it for deer, but I'm sure the way it's locked. So a lot of waterfowlers will do like a tree.
Yeah.
Like Shannon has one in her barn. And it was like how many ever ducks they shot that year. So the last 4 or whatever that they shot for the year on that last hunt got them to a certain number, a milestone number. And so they mounted them on a tree, and it was super cool, like on a log. And then you could mount that. Same concept. I don't know why it wouldn't work, but waterfowlers could use it too.
Yeah.
On
if you have a big multiple duck,
group, multiple duck
multiple
mount.
Goose kind of thing.
Super cool product. It's called the Timber Lock by Timber Creek Outdoors. And but I wanted to mention that everybody's getting their game heads back. It's kind of the time right now. Everybody's starting to pick up their mounts from the season as they're getting done, and we'll have them at the store. They've got their new one being shipped out, so but you can find them at Rogers Sporting Goods there in Liberty, and we'll have them, and you can kind of show you a demo of how it looks. But super neat product, and we'll have to have them on. They're a good group, and we'll talk about hunting and anything hunting. I'll talk about for hours. I don't care, squirrels to moose or whatever.
Yeah.
Or funny stories about hunting. We could do a blooper episode sometime of just our funny outtakes on hunting.
We have to. Yeah.
We all got stories. It'd be like the funny blooper episode of funny stuff we've done. What? You're already laughing thinking about all the
Oh, I can only imagine
stuff
what you've done.
Oh, it's wild. But that's neither here nor there. That's for another time. But no, I'm happy to be back here finally. I've had people, I was telling you, hey, another guy came in and he's like, what happened to your podcast? I listened to it on the way to work. I haven't had anything to listen to for a while. So we'll get the ball rolling again. It's a new year.
Is this the New Year's resolution?
New us. The new tripod. We're going to be rocking and rolling this year. Again, what's the email address?
It's just like podcast at rogersportinggoods.com.
But they'll find it on our podcast. That link is in there.
Yeah.
So
send us your questions.
Send us questions, interesting stories you've got, things you want to hear. And also, if you're one of those 11 states that have banned hunting on Sunday, which I'm going to look into, I swear. I am going to write a state rep and see if they'll respond, see if I can get an answer of why this rule is in place. And then if you live in one of those states, like Pennsylvania or North Carolina or something, you're not allowed to hunt on Sunday, let us know how that works and how you deal with it.
And if it changes in your state because of Pat, you should invite him to go hunting.
That's right. We'll go hunt on Sunday. I'll be out there. I'm off on Sunday. I'll fly out Saturday evening. We'll hunt Sunday. I'll fly back Sunday night. But it's good. I'm glad I'm back.
Yeah.
Ready to attack.
Yeah.
Ready to roll, man. New year. We got all sorts of new stuff.
Got a couple more waterfowl stories coming up, and then we're going to be off to fishing and turkey hunting,
spring
and all that
turkey.
good stuff.
Yep.
Yep.
Another year, buddy.
Oh, and if you're listening to this and you plan on attending NWTF, me and Pat will be down there. I don't know the booth number.
Somewhere down there.
Yep, we'll be at the NWTF convention this year, February 15th through the 18th in Nashville at the, what do they call it? The Grand Opryland Convention Center. So stop by. We'll have our Ryder Sporting Goods booth set up there.
We'll have some cool new gear.
New swag for you. And awesome specials because that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, if anybody was there last year, they know that we had some.
Yeah,
we had some blowout deals going on.
So you're going to want to stop by. I've got a few guys that are from out there, so they're going to stop by.
Yeah,
they were in the store from Nashville. They're like, we'll see you there. So, yep, make sure you stop by and check us out and give us a listen and like it and share it and
follow us on social media.
Tell everybody to find it.
And rate the podcast.
That's right. Rate it. Jump on Facebook, and we're on Instagram and all sorts of stuff.
TikTok.
Hayden got us on TikTok.
Yeah.
I mean, we're new age, man.
Always changing.
2023, we're new age. Ryder Sporting Goods, man. We got it. So,
all right.
I love it. Thanks for listening.
I think it's time for me to go.